Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. 2brosPodcast, episode 5.
Five dot.
5 dot, indeed. Uh-oh, what'd you drop, man?
No, I just.
So an interesting week for both of us with traveling. I was in Atlanta.
You on business?
Yeah, it's always business.
Right.
Had a great time. I visited the Porsche testing facility in Atlanta. If you're ever in Atlanta and you only go to the underground or the strip clubs, you haven't really seen Atlanta.
Atlanta's a great city.
Great
It
city.
doesn't get credit for being a great city, probably because it has a lot of New York transplants in Atlanta.
Yeah,
So
yes,
it's-
for sure. I mean, it's full of people that just came from, used to live up here and
Right.
then moved down there and tried to relocate and I guess for a better life, so to speak. But interestingly enough, I visited the test. Well, it was part of a group called Intersection Hospitality where they asked me to come give my opinion on running an event showcase, and it was fun. They used the test facility at the Porsche because we had dinner there, and it was really extravagant. It was really something fun. I mean, they didn't let us drive it, but nah, they didn't let us drive. They just they gave us a driver, and then he just kind of like, welcome to my office. Hold on, and listen, they got a donut pad, which is really cool. A donut pad that sits right in the middle, and you come out and you just.
But they let you drive anything?
No,
nothing.
Man.
Not even a.
You gotta put out a real application, fill out your credit, and then put a whole reservation type of thing. It's really weird.
In case you break shit.
Yeah, because it's quite expensive. So I think I'm gonna turn the mic towards us. That might give us.
That's how you sound a little
Yeah. I think it sounds much better this way, right? It's coming
Yeah, it does,
towards
yeah.
us. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was pretty fun. It was really cool. The event overall was the first one of many. Listen, they asked me to get involved with it to give my opinion. More that city slicker mentality.
To give your opinion on what?
So because of the hospitality industry,
Right.
I'm a buyer, and they want to know how do these showrooms get more attention from other buyers,
Okay.
and that's all. And so me being a buyer from New York, even though we do world and global projects, they were just asking my perspective of, is it more cookies? Is it more coffee?
Right.
Is it more, more jump in front of people? And really, how do you get people? And the biggest part of what they didn't understand, I think, was the biggest problem is they kept pushing catalog product to a custom world. You know what I'm saying? So my only offer was to tell them, look, you can have all this shit in here. Like Bruce Willis said, you could have set all this other shit on fire. The only thing I wanted was the watch and the kangaroo. Did you get it or not?
Pulp Fiction reference.
Oh man, millions of them. But yeah, so I think that was the crux of the whole event, and it pretty much was okay. You're super low battery already on your thing.
On what
On
thing?
your
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're going to get tethered here. But either way, it was fun. We tested some, they drove us around. But you know what I didn't like about it? They had us have cocktail hour, and then you go fucking get in a Porsche.
Wow.
And the guy's driving 120.
That could have been organized a little.
120 miles an hour after I just had 3 Tito's and sodas. And I'm like, dude. And he was like, yo, I can't let you film in the car. You know what I'm saying? I had filmed some of it. But
Right.
so you'll see on my Instagram, I put up a few little posts. But he wouldn't let me film in. But what a rush. What a rush. A huge rush. And a successful event. So we had a good time.
Now, did the driver engage in cocktail hour as well?
No. So
Okay.
that would have been messy.
All right.
That would have been really messy. No, the driver was pretty cool. He was kind of like, hey, man, I got the best job in the world. Welcome to my office. And hold on, and he talked the whole time. So he was like, you're in a Porsche with a sound for the front, and then this goes about 35. Now, in 1962, they made I'm like, shut the I'm like, I don't hear anything you're saying right now. I'm older. Because, as you drive and
Right.
you get to that moment where you're like, oh shit.
Right.
We're going too fast and we're about to make a turn here, and he's just skirping and rumble.
Okay,
What do
okay.
you call them? They call it something. Rumble something.
But when it starts to like,
no, on the street when they put the rumble in the pavement, they make the lines.
okay. I have no idea what that's called.
Rumble lines or whatever it is. Is this weird that you turning backwards? Or?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. No, the rumble lines. When you hit those, that means you're too far over, man. I mean, it's supposed to wake you up.
I got you. Okay.
Those things. So he's riding all over the.
He lives on those.
Yeah, man. but what a ride, man! It was fantastic. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
The event overall was okay. It was a little weak. In other words, they didn't like have that go. You know, they were
Right.
they were like asking too much instead of doing. In other words, they were trying
Okay.
to ask more opinions than really just doing it, and then ask everybody at the end. So they kind of didn't know what they were doing, which we knew.
Right.
But at the same time, they should have just had some plan. Like, you know, the
Right.
Porsche thing was like the highlight of the trip. And then they were like, okay, so are we doing it okay? Are we doing it? I said, I don't know. It's not over yet. Like, I'll tell you when it's over if you did it all right.
So in a sense, it's better to sort of like put your foot on the gas and be wrong, as opposed to taking little small. Just go ahead and do it, and then you could figure out, okay, well, this is where you can adjust it, and stuff like that, because you know that doesn't work, as opposed to just simply waiting to see
Correct, because
what
that
would or would not be the right approach.
Yeah, I think you're right, because you know why? Then it's not organic if you're asking me, am I okay?
Right.
While you're still serving me.
Right.
it's just not organic. Like that means you're not sure you know what you're doing.
Right.
And this can go wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I just wish they would have just gone ahead and done what they had to do
Right.
the way they were planning on doing it, and then just ask later. That's all.
Right.
So other than that, so how was your trip?
My trip was nice. We went to me and the missus. We went to Miami.
Okay.
Just a few days getaway and,
Sure.
and just chill and relax and stuff. Met up with a couple friends of ours, Elaine and Mike Palladino. You probably remember them. They were the photographers at our wedding.
Yeah, Palladino. Okay.
They live in.
They were pretty good. Yeah,
they
I
live
like
in.
their stuff.
They live in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And they have two kids that are like, their foot is on the gas all the time.
In what
Their-
regards? What
Their
is it?
energy level is
Oh.
like just boom all the time.
Oh, so they're ready to go. You name it, man.
Oh man, we went to a science museum in Miami, which
Nice.
is a beautiful. They have like some of the things they have there is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
They have this interactive room. It's just a room, but what it is, they project. It's supposed to simulate. It's supposed to simulate a 24-hour period in this, I guess, like an African landscape or something like that. And so,
Oh, that's dope.
and so there are things like on the ground and things in the wall, and if you touch them, it changes. Like, so if you put your foot in a certain spot, then the water that's creeping around like moves around your foot.
Where is this? This is in North Miami?
This is Miami. This is downtown Miami.
Wow.
This is downtown.
I never heard of
It's
it.
a beautiful. It's a nice, beautiful setup.
I'll be in Miami this week.
It's a beautiful setup. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to ask you where it is because I'm down there this week. I'm probably one day only for a model room.
They
I'm
have
going
this.
down
They have a Shark Tank. That the museum is is 4 stories tall,
there. No pun intended. Yeah.
and they have a Shark Tank that goes that you can view from each floor. So it has the top floor where you could look down into the tank and you can see the fish in there. They have some baby hammerheads. But as you go to each floor, there's a station where you can look in and you can like view it from a window.
Oh, so you're actually so wait, you're saying different levels like this is
Right.
a couple of stories high. You could see fish up that level and
Right.
fish on this level?
Right.
Huh.
Right. From the top, you can look at it down at the open, like you can, they won't let you touch the water, but you
Right.
can see the water and you can look down into the tank. And when you're going down to the next level, now you can see that level in an encased through a window, but then you can also see what's going on.
Oh,
up
you
top.
can see the guy throwing fish in and feeding
Yeah,
them.
well, they
or
don't.
whatever. Right.
We didn't see any of that, but yes, as you go down each level, you see more and more.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a really nice place. It's a really
Wow.
interactive place, and I think it's relatively inexpensive. And they have on the other side of the science museum, they have a area which I think is like free to the public.
Oh, so it's
you
free?
can actually go.
Public?
No. The science museum isn't free,
I'm just gonna change this.
but there's a part in it where you can simply just like go and like look at the water and have lunch and sit on the steps and and stuff, and yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. It's really nice to do it with the family. It's really nice, you know.
And is it's Miami Wildlife? What is it? What is it called?
It's the Miami. I want to say it's the Miami Science Museum.
Science Museum.
It's the Miami Science Museum, and the idea is to get kids interested in science, and it's great because our friends' kids, Logan and Mia, they're really excited about going there, and they want to see the fish, and they want to.
So have they been there before? And
they had been there before,
okay,
right?
So
and they're excited. We went to a planetarium where they showed this movie about asteroids and stuff. So it was
that's probably cool. Asteroids, asteroids are one of those things I was always afraid of. Like I always thought they were imminent, like they were coming very soon.
Well, it talks about that. It talks about the time when the asteroid hit Russia.
Yeah,
I can't remember when it was. It was like turn of the century, I think it was.
Wow. So it's very possible. I hear we're talking about natural and nature and all this stuff, and we're seeing a shitload of calamities and shit going on these days. Puerto Rico, man. God bless all the Boricuas, and a lot of people have asked. Actually, some people commented on one of the other episodes, asking. I think it was a troller. Somebody just posted something. But people are asking how do they help and which are the best charities, and do your homework on research on who you're giving your funds to. It's not easy to get. Actually, people who want to do human volunteering is not that easy. Obviously, everyone says the Red Cross is probably the best opportunity to be overall. Red Cross is a huge organization.
Yeah.
I think their payroll in itself is probably too huge to
Yeah, there's a question like how much, like for every dollar you give, how much of that dollar is actually being used for the cause to which you're saying it's going to be for.
I know, but when a CEO of a nonprofit organization makes six figures, I mean that hurts, and that's really hard to kind of fathom. How much are you really doing? Like, do you really need to make 180 million? 180,000 a year for doing that kind of, and I get it. It's an important job.
It's a lot to organize.
It's a huge organization. But and I'm not quoting the salary. I don't know that that's the real salary, but it's somewhere up there in the six figures.
A lot. Yeah, they got heavy six figures. Some are even $1 million.
Some of those guys are really high corporate guys. That, they're not just volunteers.
Right. It's not just There's no difference between them and the CEO of a major corporation.
And a lot of people mistake that nonprofits can't have salaries. Like.
Right.
Your salary it's not profit, it's personal gain, etc. But the organization itself is not getting a profit from it. So I think people confuse that with a lot of the jargon.
A lot of people are chipping in Puerto Rico. I read on the plane ride back. I read that Delta Airlines actually donated a plane to use to ship supplies and personnel back and forth. And it was at the behest of apparently Governor Cuomo asked Delta to do that, and they agreed to do that. And so they're using it to send supplies and people to help because, it's hopefully it gets better. It should get better, but it should get much better.
I mean, hopefully they can recover. But I mean, we've seen. I think we've seen these kind of disasters before. We just haven't seen them in rapid fire, like back to back to back to back. Yeah. And a lot of people on this trip was from Houston. They were talking about how they're recovering somewhat. They're kind of trying to get back to normal. It's not easy, but because they're in kind of like this metro city, it's a little easier. It's not a beach city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have. So, and
it's not surrounded. It's not an island.
Right.
As our president reminded us that if you saw that.
This guy makes no,
Well, just in case you didn't know, Puerto Rico's an island surrounded by water. Big water.
Big water.
Ocean water.
Yeah, ocean water. Huge.
Just in case you didn't know.
I mean, the guy never misses an opportunity to kind of embarrass us. I mean,
And he's asking, and apparently he's upset that the mayor of San Juan, I guess he said something on Twitter, and the mayor of San Juan made a response saying, no, this isn't a great moment. This, people are hurting. People are hurt. We gotta find, and there are pictures of her like wading through waist high water, going through communities to see if anybody's trapped in their homes and stuff like that. And the response is that, well, they should be doing more. It's kind of weird. It's like, wow, this is like, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't get behind a dude who's gonna say stuff like that. And he's golfing this weekend. He's probably back right now.
Probably.
Hopefully his game was good.
Game's gotta be shitty. He's what, 70-something years old. He's fucking. This guy's gonna listen. I try not to make this about him, and I think a lot of people give him too much platform and audience. That's just one of the things that we're just. I think all of what we're doing now is being voiced because of his rhetoric,
right?
And I think now more than ever, the people are really starting to speak.
Yeah,
we're speaking. We have a platform now
right.
That's starting to just generate some kind of conscious thinking, and others are doing the same thing. And I think that's what's the best thing that can come out of all of this is that people are now waking up and going, hold on, wait a minute, what the fuck did he just say?
Right.
What the hell did he just say? Are we seriously? That's the story. That's what we're running with. Okay, that's what's happening here. So in the grand scheme of things, we hope that all of these cities that are affected really bounce back and recover. And don't take anything for granted, guys. I mean, we're living in a day where one weekend you can get wiped out, and it's a shame. But most of all, I think this is Mother Nature's way of kind of saying, hey, you know what? You guys got to start loving each other, man. Because every time, the one common thing that happens after every disaster is people say, I just love how everyone got together and we helped each other.
Yeah.
And so if that's the one thing that comes out of calamity, then that's organic.
Yeah.
Nature's telling you, be more compassionate. Like that's the way you want, he, whatever it. The universe is trying to make us be more compassionate, more human.
Well, it's also a. Not to say that this is a good thing. But
yeah.
When I was down in Miami, what you see in Miami, you see a lot of, like old, dead vegetation on the ground, and sort of this notion of, okay, well, this was a bad event, but this also gives us an opportunity to sort of like bring in the new, so to speak.
Yeah,
now
like
that's not now, of course, when you look at things like Puerto Rico and Houston and even some parts of southern Florida, yes, people's lives were definitely lost and people's lives were definitely impacted negatively.
Devastated.
But like you said, when you were able to come together, because when you drive around, you see people in neighborhoods, cleaning up and getting together and
a sense of community.
Hopefully that's what will happen. There'll be a sense of community. Let me help this person down the street. Let me, hopefully people went, to the grocery store for somebody who was having a hard time and stuff like that.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I really think that's more. You need more of that when you don't have the, calamity. When you don't have the crisis. So if you had more of that, a lot of vibrations.
On the everyday.
Yeah, we're vibration people, man. When we live off of good vibes, and everybody's that negative swirl, is very infectious. It you had like a series of negative events that led to, nature just going, fuck you fuckers, you know what I'm saying?
Out of chaos comes order.
Oh, of course. And
it's the strife of order and chaos.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's a beautiful scene in The Fifth Element,
right.
That I reference a lot, where Gary Oldman. You seen Fifth Element?
I did not. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I just stare at Gary Oldman's haircut in that.
And Givenchy did like the whole wardrobe or something like that. It was kind of crazy. But there's one scene where he, Bruce Willis obviously comes in and he's got the gun at him, and he's like, why are you doing this, man? 1 million people gonna die. What the hell? Why do you need to destroy everything? And he sits and he shows a glass of water, and he says, look at that glass of water, sitting there all by itself, calm, nothing wrong with it, nothing happening. And as we don't do anything with it, that water will just sit there and maybe evaporate and disappear. But if I just tip it, and he knocked it over. Glass fell, water fell, Robot came, swept up the glass. A server came, gave a new glass with new water. He said, I just created 5 jobs with 1 act of chaos.
Wow.
And it's a lot to be said about that. He's saying, there was nothing happening until I tipped this thing over.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. No job, no, richer for poor, nothing.
Right.
But when see the wind?
Is that the wind?
Mother Nature's talking to us?
Talking this morning. Something's going on.
I don't know.
It's probably a direct wind current. We're at, we probably should have said something. We are not in the same spot that we were.
No, we're not in we're not in our original studio. But is it getting louder? Is it? Mother Nature's talking back to us, maybe.
Probably is.
Probably is.
Nothing like the fact that we're talking too loud.
Wow.
I can still hear you. Well, that's
I can hear you, but it's like a roar. I mean, something is really happening. Okay.
everybody down!
Yeah. It is kind of crazy, but maybe it's a technical thing here, but we're still recording. We're still going.
Yeah, we're still going.
Yeah, we're still going.
You can hear a buzz.
But I don't like it though.
You can hear a buzz. Thank you for those who are responding on the Instagram live. Like I said, we're far away, so I can't.
But is it sideways?
I can't read it. Well, it's I don't know.
Do they see us sideways?
I don't. I have no idea.
Okay, something.
I have no idea. So, but thank you for those who are responding. We can't respond because we're far away. Trying something a little different. Just trying to see how savvy we can be.
So we're back. A little technical difficulties.
We're back,
Kinda, sorta. You don't want to turn it straight up, like.
I'm
Huh?
going to turn this off, so it's off.
Oh. Yeah, well, we're back. We're having a little feedback from the microphone. As you can see,
So
as
no
my
more
brother
Instagram.
said, we are at a different location, a secret location.
Secret, yeah. It's actually not a secret. We're on the campus of Hofstra.
Yes, we're on the campus of Hofstra. It is fall, and people are enjoying a little bit of an extended summer, which has been kind of a great, kind of a good thing. It's just
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
with all the calamity going on. Having a couple of extra days is kind of
A
fun.
couple of days of summer. It's supposed to be like in the 70s this week or something.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was in Atlanta, and it was 95, 96. I mean, super hot.
Yeah.
And
We had the humidity in Florida. It rained a few days
yeah.
when we were in Florida, but it didn't matter because I was eating guava pastries and drinking Cuban coffee.
Ooh. We went to this place called in Miami, I forget, called the District. Okay. And the District is right off of Route 1 in Biscayne. It's a whole new area they just developed. It's a bunch of high-end stores, like high-end boutique stores and all
Yes.
that stuff. It's called the District.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
And there's a restaurant bar called the District, right?
Okay.
My wife will tell you, she keeps the picture on her phone. Guava pancakes with like this honey all kinds of crazy lemon ginger butter, and it was just nuts. It's called the District. It was absolute best breakfast we've had. And it's really kind of you could tell they really made it like urban. You know, everything's
Right.
like urban. Everyone
Right.
wants to be like Brooklyn when Brooklyn didn't want to be Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like, but everything is. But they've carved out some really nice areas there, and Miami is one of those people that just don't know how long it's gonna be there. Like,
No. I mean, if you believe what you hear, that at some point that place is going to be underwater.
it's very possible. I mean, it's very possible. It sits too low to the damn freaking to the shoreline, and I'm always weirded out by how much people just love to just hang near water and just.
And still building there. If you go, I mean,
I'm
when
building
we were,
right now. I'm doing
when we
a
were in
project.
Miami, you see still high rises are being built by the ocean, and houses are still being built, and so whatever that projection is not scaring people from living there.
Well, like the Florida Keys is interesting because
They got hit hard by.
they got demolished, and there's a funny saying about the Florida Keys is like, can't really feel too sorry for millionaires who have their fifth home there. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
like,
wow.
have their summer home. But I do feel sorry for the people who gave up everything to move there and just kind of
that's
retire and settle.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean,
It's evil.
That's
Just being maniacal and just.
You can't, because a lot of people. Somebody told me that the Florida Keys is a bunch of people who went there on spring break and just never came back. That's how it started. People went there on break and said, "Hey, I ain't leaving."
Yeah, well, the Poconos was like that for a lot of people. You know, we went out there for the Poconos for my wife's 30th birthday, and like Ali never came back. And it was like, dude, you made it home okay? He was like, no, we're staying. I was like, what? He said, yeah, we're buying a house. We're looking at some.
So you're saying for the weekend? I said, no, like forever.
Forever. And 15 years later, he's like, well,
he's still out there.
No,
right?
he just left. He just sold his house, and then moved a little further down. He's down in Virginia now.
Okay.
So I actually downsized and went from this huge house on a big property.
Right.
And now he downsized to like a apartment style living with full services, pool. I mean, it's the best.
Now, are his kids grown?
So his kids are like a little younger than mine. I mean, Michael is going off to college, and his daughter is a doctor now in Virginia.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, his daughter Kalina's old. She's like Ron's age, so she's like 23, somewhere around that. Matter of fact, their all birthdays are coming up in October. And she's like a nurse. She passed her, so she's down there.
Okay.
Michael's on his way to college, I believe. He should be going to college. And Makani, the youngest one, is still in grade school. And he just adapted like real quick. He just went in and was like, okay, fine. These are my friends. Ice cream shops down this way. Candy,
But that makes sense though. Like so it's like rather than like wife and 3 kids, it's now like wife and 1 child. You made it a little bit smaller. And,
but still has room for all of them. I mean, it's got like 3 or 4 bedrooms or something. It's a nice apartment.
Right.
I mean, we visited because we took Niche down to Georgetown, and they live not too far from there. Actually, he took us back to the airport. It was really cool. Thank you. And the down, what he was saying, what he mentioned which was very interesting, was he said he found himself. The bigger the house was, the more stuff he had, and he just kept buying more stuff to
fill up a house.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, I might as well, buy a tractor to mow or brack all this stuff. So he was buying more equipment on top of bigger things and moving. Oh, I want to move that boulder and put a trampoline here. Okay. And I guess he found himself overwhelmed with too much of, just being.
Stuff.
And then, instead of living, like you're actually not living, you're just maintaining things.
Right.
And so. I like the downsize because he's like, hey, dude, Carlos, air conditioner is kind of weak. Can you pump it up? Make a phone call.
Yeah.
And you get amenity service. And this place was pretty cool. They had like their own. They had their like what they called the backyard kind of thing, where they had a big backyard with a couple of grills, flat screen TVs in the it's all outdoors, but it's hooded like covered. It was pretty cool. Pool, they got lockers, you can hang out by the community.
They got
pool.
lockers. Oh, so for the complex.
Yeah, like you live there, but you bring your stuff down. You want to put it in your own locker. Like you live in apartment 5B, you're entitled to 2 or 3 lockers. Or I guess you could reserve them or something. It was very nice. It was a kind of a gated community type of thing, and it was really, very, very, very accommodating, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, man. So. Like we said, fall here, winter is on its way very shortly. The pumpkin coffees are...
Nope.
So I just got my coffee this morning, and I saw more pumpkin items than I care to see in a coffee and donut shop. They now have pumpkin cream cheese.
A pumpkin cream cheese donut?
A pumpkin cream cheese that they spread on your bagel for you.
Really?
It just looks disgusting in the poster. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I said, what's that? And the guy said, no, that's a pumpkin cream cheese you can get.
You're going to get shit for that.
I know. Why? Does all Dunkin' Donuts guys sound like that? He sure enough did sound like that. And he said, you can have pumpkin cream cheese. So I was like, do you eat that? He was like, no. Which, I don't know why.
It's funny, all of those places that that's where they work.
Yeah.
But then if you ever catch them, like, when they're, like, going to lunch,
they
don't eat none of that.
They don't eat none of that.
They have their thing of, like,
rice
and some veggies and maybe a little bit of protein and
some
mushrooms. They don't indulge in none of that. I go to where I work across the street, this bodega that has all these like sandwiches and stuff like that. They make it. When you see a guy on his break, he's not making himself a sandwich. He's got a big bowl of fruit,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe like a piece of bread or something.
Well, same like the Chinese stores, Chinese restaurants, especially
Yeah.
the urban ones, the ones in the
Right.
hood. They don't eat that stuff.
No, they don't.
They got a special rice cooker that they
For their
they don't
rice,
even
right.
they only serve out of themselves, out of there,
Right.
and all that other gooey shit they put on our food and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, those people, $3 you get, and that MSG is no joke, man.
can jack you up.
Monosodium glutamate,
Can jack you up.
very bad for you. If tell them no MSG, guys. This stuff this is the powder that makes you feel full when you're eating, and then 5 minutes later, after a burp or you pass gas or
Really?
something, you're hungry.
Really.
It is the number one. They put it in all. Those all-you-can-eat buffets.
That's what they
They sprinkle that shit on everything. MSG. Because it's only but so much you can eat. So you just, and you, oh, fuck, I feel full, I'm bloated, and all that
Right.
stuff. And all it does is just expand like fucking diaper pellets. Like fucking, it's like a foam. Turns into fucking foam in your body and silicone and.
I just had this image now of China buffet and diaper pellets.
Diaper pellets are crazy.
Like a fucking tray of diaper pellets.
It's disgusting, man.
I mean, China buffet is nasty anyway.
China buffet is the
that's,
worst disgusting thing. For $9.99,
Yeah. Well, you did it when you were on a budget, and you wanted to act like you were going somewhere and stuff, and so yeah, exactly. So yeah, but then you're like, oh, this is.
The funny thing is that people look at they got the sneeze guard and everyone puts their head underneath it and bypasses the hood and touches everything, and I mean it's just buffets are I'm kind of grossed out by buffets now, man. I'm really not into that. I mean, younger, you had a stomach of steel, eat anything, do anything, shit. I wish I could still do that, but man, now, stuff just makes me sick looking at it.
I can still do that.
Huh?
I mean, I can, but I won't.
Oh, I can if I want, like, if I'm like, hey, we're up for this and we're gonna do some some mountain man stuff and really get crazy, I could do it. But I like to, I don't know, I just like seeing where my food comes from now.
Would you hunt and eat what you killed?
So I would love to. Yes, the answer is yes, I would. I'm just afraid that I don't know how properly. And funny you said that.
Okay.
So every moment when I was down in my Atlanta, someone said, "Oh, because I tell you, I go to Dirt Days next week. Me and Ron, we go up to the mountains of Georgia." And the lady tells me, "Oh, well, speaking of mountains of Georgia, have you ever seen Deliverance?" So, and I said, "Man, I haven't seen that movie since. I mean, it came out in 1972. I was born in '72. Burt Reynolds, Ned Beatty, Ronnie Cox, and John Voight.
Yes,
John Voight was the fourth guy.
Yes.
What a movie to go back and watch. So I watched it again last night. And Burt Reynolds' character, Lewis, he's like, it's all about the game. It's about survive. And they're city guys, But he's explaining them, like, when you come out here to the woods, you better be prepared to learn how to survive. Like, when the system crashes, and it's very apocalyptic in their conversation. They're saying, when the system crashes, are you going to be ready? Do you know how to kill? Do you know how to, skin a buck and feed yourself from nature? And my answer would probably be no. I'm probably not equipped to do it. Only as a savage, I would do it. You know what I mean? Like, I can throw something on a fire, but I'll probably eat the wrong parts. Like,
Well, you go through that process of trying to figure it out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean,
like Tom Hanks in Castaway. Had to figure it out. Took him 5 years to figure it out.
That's a long damn time, man. I mean, that is a huge, long time. And
you saw in the movie, he became proficient, though. Became a great fisherman, knew what to do.
He
knew when to make
became.
his fire. Yeah. After that time, you never saw that?
I did see it.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those movies that time lapsed itself. It was like so long, and it depends on what time you're talking about. Like, I don't remember the sequence of it. Like, I just remember the highlights. Wilson, right? Wilson. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's interesting though, because a lot of people think that they're so quote unquote prepared and they got a shitload of ravioli and canned goods in their pantry, and they're like, "Oh, we're good for a couple." If you ate fucking ravioli out of a can for 6 weeks, your kidney, your liver would explode.
Right.
You'd be shit.
Right.
That stuff is not gonna work for you.
Yeah, I'd be interested in doing that. I'd be interested in
Roughing it.
yeah, just to see what you could like,
Yeah.
Would you just like lay there and just say, oh well, I'll just, I'm a big guy. I can last for a little bit. At some point you got to figure out how you're going to feed yourself.
Yeah.
If your family's there, you got to feed your family.
Right.
You got to protect your family. So if all of a sudden somebody comes strolling around,
This is true. This is very true.
like if you're starving, and somebody rolls around with a freaking deer on their back, what do you do?
Well, interestingly, like how you said, is exactly how the I guess the land was quote unquote discovered, right? When you hear the Lewis and Clark expedition, and Sacagawea and all these Indian nationalities and all this other stuff, the rape and pillage was real, like that pelting,
Right.
What's the other one with Leonardo, the Revenant?
The Revenant. I saw that on.
So that's kind of a good look. I like how they did it because they really took it primal. They took it very primal to how it wasn't just hey, we landed and discovered this area here. The pelting of skinning and
Right. Well, that's how they made money.
It was how they made money. Bear trading, skin trading was like money.
Right.
But the natives who did it well, instead of, hey, let's learn from this, they said, yeah, get 50 more, stack them up. Then they kill them and steal their hides and run off to the woods. Instead of nurturing these people, and said, they just totally said, well, they don't look like us. They're so what? Nobody cares about these people here. Meanwhile, they had their own village. They were, and then they burn the whole fucking place down after they steal all of their furs and stuff. And they go to try and sell it for whatever dollars.
Well, the Revenant has two. They have two different groups. They had the French group, who was pretty much more, I guess, what's the word? Like tyrannical in how they did business. And there was the group that Leonardo DiCaprio was with, who were guys just like trying to make a living.
Yeah.
So like it showed you the difference. And then there was the underlying thing. Somebody had captured this girl from this tribe, and they were looking for them, and that's probably one of the reasons which sparked a lot of things.
Yeah, but this was always the case.
But from what I understand, it's supposed to be based on a true story.
Yeah.
As far as the movie is concerned, like 95% of that was false.
Really?
Like the only thing I remember read an article. The only thing that was real was that this guy, the Leonardo DiCaprio character, he was part of this group, got attacked by a bear, and worked his way back to camp.
Yeah, but
all of that other stuff.
No, but that bear fucked him up. Dude.
No, yes, it was.
That bear beat the shit out of him, broke his back,
yes.
and he kind of like slept under a pile of leaves,
right,
and burnt them. That's bullshit. All that finding some shaman or some Indian guy to nurse you back and smoke a peace pipe.
Well, I don't know if that part is true, but they said, but apparently that story that's based on.
Yeah.
What we saw in the movie was like 95% like false.
Yeah.
Like the animosity between the two people and all that stuff like that. He was just a dude. They thought he was dead. Right. Okay, they went on about themselves, and then he was able to get back to camp.
But I think the idea said more than it was. I think what the portrayal of what was allegedly to have happened during those times, the primal part I spoke of was how just they just had no regard for a lot of villages and right. this concept of, hey, we could take whatever you want. So it goes back to what we talked about. Can you do it, and can you skin your own and eat your own? Right. And what happens when someone comes and tries to threaten your family and say, hey, you know what, we cook for us, but
well, not necessarily threaten your family, but somebody that has resources that you need. Like, how do you go about? I mean, you can cooperate with them,
right?
Or you can destroy them and take their stuff. Neither one, when you're in a situation of having to provide for your family and you have limited resources, neither one is an irrational thing. It's no more rational to cooperate with somebody to get resources than it is to destroy somebody to get your resources.
Oh, good point.
So that's, I mean, it really is no different.
Right.
So it begs the question of where does your, do your morals outpace your ability to provide for your family?
But I think if you have a language barrier in between there, and
Right.
it kind of doesn't come across well when somebody and what? No, English, motherfucker. I'm saying it this way, and that happens here. That happens with
Well, that happens now.
That's what I'm saying. It happens now where people just don't understand each other.
That happens now.
And the case in point with that cop that just shot this guy, it was like they're like he's fucking deaf.
Oh, he was deaf. Yeah.
The guy's deaf.
It was horrible.
It was just horrible, man.
That was horrible. What I was happy. I mean, I remember when I was in the military, when I was in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
we would go out into downtown Tokyo.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that.
And then guys would get upset that people didn't speak English.
Yeah.
And he would look at me and say, "How come these motherfuckers don't speak English?" And I said, "Well, they're fucking Japanese." And you know what? The Japanese dude is probably going back to his friend and saying, "Hey, how come these motherfuckers don't speak Japanese?" And the other dude's saying, "Because they're American, they speak English."
That's. I mean, language has always been. I kick myself in the ass all the time for not learning more languages as younger.
Yeah.
And I think I was actually very patriotic in my decision not to want to learn them. I mean, I took French in school because I had to.
Right.
I took Spanish because they always had it. But I was so American
That
saying,
you-
why? Why should I
Right.
learn? I live here. I'm never going over there. And here
Some
I am
people feel
traveling
that way,
four
yeah.
corners of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like,
It could help every once in a while.
nope.
It could help.
Yes, head nod is kind of standard, except for Indians, man. The head nod for them is this way. They no, yes, no.
Yeah,
Why-
like diagonal. What are you saying? What, yes, no, maybe?
No, and they still go no. And he's like, what? This is the one. Listen, no offense, man. This is not a racial thing. I don't know, but I don't know where they got it wrong. Like no, yes, and it's even hard to do it. Can you say no? I mean, yes.
No, yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah,
do.
it is hard.
It's hard because you're so conditioned. So I don't know. It's just. Oh, I hope they don't take us down for that song. Man.
What?
They're playing this.
Well, keep talking. And
Yeah.
won't be able
We'll
to
drown
hear
out the
anything.
sound of the song.
We'll drown out the sound. They got like, I guess they play they get like lacrosse camps, and then they got lacrosse leagues.
Yeah.
And so they all, like on Sundays, they all come on, and then they play and stuff. It's kind of, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
But then you see the tyrannical parents. They're what? Get over it!
You gotta run, Jimmy.
Right.
But yeah, speaking of being on Hofstra campus, we were on episode 3. We had Coach Joanne from Positive Direction. She just announced one of her players from the Mary Lewis Academy has committed here.
Oh, nice.
Jordan Nixon. So she will be a Hofstra Pride on the females team. So that lady is still cranking out, putting out
Nice.
scholarship programs, student athletes. So kudos to Coach Joe and your endeavors. So we look
Nice.
forward to seeing her next year. You still got a big season to finish this year. So, and which brings us into the sports section.
Oh.
So college coaches getting arrested by the FBI, dude. What's going on? The gig is up.
Why are I'm not surprised.
Yeah, me neither. No way.
I'm not surprised.
No way.
I mean, I'm just, it's there's no. I was listening when I went to the gym this morning. I listened to some of those sports talk shows.
Yeah.
And Coach Bobby Early,
Okay.
legendary coach from
Yeah.
not St. Patrick's, the
No,
place in Jersey. I can't remember.
Saint
I'm gonna get upset.
Anthony.
Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was a guest on one of the shows, and that was a question that the host brought up, and he said one of the things that upsets him is sort of the purity of high school to college athletics is now in question, and so my retort to that was, well, when it hasn't. That's been in question for a long time. When wasn't it?
Right.
In question. And to say that, coaches are getting money from organizations to sway kids in a certain direction,
Right.
that's Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
kind of how it goes. Kind of, these coaches, these salaries, they're just really taking the sport out of. They're really taking the actual sport out of the sport.
yeah,
And the competitiveness is skewed because it has so many other ways. And I've seen it from the AAU side. It's disgusting. I don't how you say, look down on the player who's a recipient of it.
right.
I look at the institution that really has very little to not, like, they just don't have any. They're like, so what, like,
Right.
and just for the mere fact of that, schools, players go to school. Well, players are accepted to schools before they're accepted to the sport program before they're accepted to the school.
Right. Okay.
So, in my kid's case, he had to get accepted to the school first, then make his way to the team.
Yeah, Teron was a walk-on. He
Teron
walked
was a
on,
walk-on.
right?
He walked on and got his position and earned his way up from freshman to, because his work ethics from his program and how he spent all his time in the gym. Guys were at practice and they were vomiting and they were running 17s, and he's like, Dad, this is normal. Like, this is regular for us. So I'm thankful for that. But the idea that, we already know who's coming to this team before they even got into the school, and some of the kids were like, where's the school at again? Yeah, it was Division One. It's a school, blah blah blah, and everybody told, well, you're not gonna, your son's gonna go there, but he's not gonna play, and I said, yeah, but he's gonna get a degree, so whatever. And he walked on, and he got some academic money and stuff like that, so that worked out, But
well, he was the prototypical student athlete.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the funny thing is, one of the funniest things ever was, I did not know that the team carries an overall GPA. So they take the overall GPA of the team, and the school, the athletic director, the team has to stay
At a certain level. Okay.
He was towing the line. Ron was the guy that had.
He was raising the GPA.
Yeah, he was raising the GPA of everybody. So he was a necessity in there, and at some point, and it went so fast that I don't even know how effective that was or wasn't, but how much of a part it really played on a lot of it. But it's just sad to say that, like, what's that school? North Carolina, Tar Heels.
Yeah.
I don't know the lady's name. I should Google it and look it up. But the young lady who was one of the academic directors, she was in charge of making sure everyone had the right credits, etc.
Right.
And she goes and talks about how she was forced to throw things away and say, enough of that. Like,
she was
who
a
cares?
whistleblower.
She was a whistleblower.
Yeah.
And they fired her.
Yeah.
So that in itself shows you that these programs, are just so not in it for, when you go look at the ratio to NBA, it's the same team sending the same kids. You know what I'm saying? Kentucky.
There's like 40 schools.
Kentucky, even Louisville. And shout out to Russ Smith, who played for Malloy, went to school with Ron, and these guys played under Jack Curran, went to Kent, and then he went to Louisville. Won himself a championship. Tough kid, man. Tough. Yeah. Oh, man. Russ Smith from the Bronx, or Brooklyn, I think he's from. Russ Smith is a tough kid. I think he plays for the Grizzlies. He was on the D League, now the G League, they call it now, whatever it is. But and that kid is a good guy. I mean, somebody picks him up, they're getting a good guy. And he's a sturdy, fast, quick player. He used to play for like the Gauchos. So every time we had to play him, it was tough. But he's one class older than, maybe two classes older than Ron, because he left 2009 actually, and Ron left 2011. So, but man, he went 4 years at Louisville, stayed 4 years, got his degree, and it was frowned upon, almost like, oh, you didn't go first. Like, first year, you didn't opt out for, to get drafted, etc. And the kid said, I'm kind of want my degree. Like, I came here I want to finish something. So a lot of props to him and his family for really sticking it out and really doing the right thing. And he's talking, I see him on Instagram and talking, he's out there setting an example for kids and really, but those players, I mean, that the one percenters that make it to the league, you know, and I get it. You're trying to get a job, right? I
Right,
mean, you're just
right.
trying to. But it's terrible what these coaches are doing, man. These programs are just, and they're under a lot of pressure, I guess, from the school, right?
I would say so, especially
Yeah.
if you're making, you know, a few $1 million, and,
Yeah.
and you know, your job is to win basketball games, essentially, win basketball games and provide that for the program.
And you know, was one thing we went to a dinner boost. I guess it was the booster. No, it was the beginning of the season ticket holders gala or whatever it was.
Okay.
And all of the players. It was funny. It was so funny because all the players were told. Each player had to sit at a different table with a different booster, like a donator
Okay.
or somebody. Most of them were alumni of the school.
Okay.
But they were heads of CEOs of 1-800 Mattress and some tech audio Vox or something. You know, these are like big. They have gone to the school and they bring and put back money. They're a bunch of old, folks, and they're just okay, Sonny, you're gonna play for us, And they're just sitting there like the kids are just dumbfounded. They're just like, yes, we're looking forward to it. Thank you for your contribution, and all this. And they literally were put in a fishbowl, and we were there. Parents were allowed, and we were all sitting
Right.
at the parents' table and stuff, and watching these kids kind of walk around with, they had to walk out the boosters, and these are like season ticket holders, and Marist is a small school, so you
Right.
imagine on a big school,
So
on
on
a
a big
big
level.
level, and big heads of. But when you look at the graduating class, and you look at the guys that go to those Fortune 500 companies and graduate with a degree, it ain't the players, it ain't the basketball guys or the football guys. Their career is really limited to go overseas or do something
Right,
like that.
right.
That's their next option. Like, hey, I'm gonna go overseas and play.
Should college athletes get paid?
No, they should be in a separate league. If there should be a young adult, like a youth, not a youth league, but there should be a collegiate league that's outside, that has nothing to do with the school.
Okay.
Corporate sponsored. They do this overseas, by the way.
Right.
This is
Right.
all overseas. Like Mo Barrows that played for us. He plays in Australia.
Right.
He plays for a team, the Juro Bucks. The Juro Bucks is a electrical engineering company.
Right.
They sponsor the team and whatever it is, and they put them in these tournaments, and they get paid and whatever. That's how it should be. If you want to, and the age limit should just be a little. You can be in college. You can
Okay.
still go to school and play on the team, but because we
Okay.
travel, you're not traveling too much. It's it's local, and then if you get to the championship, they'll go. But those are different type of leagues.
So that should be two separate things. So if you go to a particular school that has a basketball team, you can play for that team. But if you're good enough, you can go on this corporate sponsored team
Yeah.
and pay and maybe get, I don't know, maybe get a stipend or get something
it's
for yourself,
like
and then whatever you do for school, that's up to you.
Yeah, school should be school, man. School is school.
Okay.
School should be school. There should be no, like if okay, just look at it this way. If I went to this school, I work at a pizza place after work
Okay.
to help pay for my school.
Right.
If there's a league out there and I can go play basketball for money, okay,
Right.
part time,
Right.
take the cash that I get because we won a champion, or even just play in this league because they sell out arenas and et cetera.
Right.
I'm a player. You go back to when Clive Frazier and all these guys had jobs. They worked
Right.
in hotels. They worked,
Right.
and they had to because the money wasn't
Right.
there.
Even pro athletes when there's stories about all the older baseball guys. Like
Yeah.
in the summer they had to have other jobs because they weren't making enough money.
Yeah, guys worked at the racetrack.
Right.
I heard stories of guys working at all kinds of places, and hey, you the guy that plays for the so and so.
Right.
Yeah, can I get your bags,
Yeah.
ma'am? And take your bags up to your room. No autographs, please. So I think it does say a lot for payments and all that stuff, because then it changes the game, and then the school becomes a financial engine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. And just like, listen, I really don't think all the other kids should front the tuition for the 12 selected players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
That should be something
I agree
different.
with that.
So
I'm big on the commitment level
Mm-hmm.
to this school because I remember I remember the days of the Georgetowns and the St. John's
Sure.
and stuff like that, and you followed a guy from the time he stepped on as a freshman through his time there. There was a commitment there, and that commitment was to that institution,
Right.
not to that person's development as
Right.
a potential NBA
Potential he's
player.
going to go to the, yeah.
Which I think that one and done rule in the NCAA has got to go.
I can't stand it.
I think if you're good enough out of high school,
Yeah.
okay, fine, go into the draft.
Yeah, go into the league.
Go.
But if you're going to go here, you got to finish school, man.
Baseball has an interesting rule that you can get signed as early as like 16 for a minor league club. But if you go to college, you have to stay there 2 years. You're committed for 2 years if you go into college. And the rule is like the moment you go to your first class,
Right.
you are no longer eligible to be a professional ball player. Now you're committed to that school,
Yeah,
and you have to be there. You have to be there for 2 years,
Right.
At least 2 years.
No, I like that. Listen, I just think if you play for a school team, you should qualify for the school's curriculum. You should
Right.
know how to read and write. You should pass,
Well,
and you should do everything
right.
that these kids have to do to stay in school
Right.
to pass the academic accreditation. That's
Right.
number one. You can't. Oh, I just play ball and this is
Right.
what I'm here to win. Then you're not part of the school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Didn't
a
get
total.
my Black Studies degree, and I'm
So it'd be so interesting to see, the life after. I mean, I'm going through it now, seeing a lot of kids that I've coached in my son's age group that are now 24, 25,
Yeah.
and they're dealing with life now after ball. And they weren't the highly recruited guys, but they were the, local whatever, and
Right.
they had their chance. And now life is happening, so thank God they have some of the skills prepared them,
Right.
and they can get up and go to work and do what they got to do and earn a living. But some of these other kids who live, sleep basketball, they're kind of stuck saying, well, no one wants me. Guy blows his knee out,
Right.
He's done. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That happened to Malik here at Hofstra.
right.
Last year, he was doing great. He was boom, 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 blows his knee. Okay, we'll help you recover, but season's over.
I wonder if kids have the notion that okay, you've gotten this opportunity, but
Right.
that I can use this opportunity. I'm going to use you, Hofstra University or whatever school. I'm going to use you to maximize my opportunities, which has to include taking advantage of the education, taking
Right.
advantage of whatever programs that they have,
Yes.
or all those other opportunities. And if you just limit it to just playing basketball, well, you're really minimizing the opportunities that you can take advantage of.
No, I agree. I really think that's what's, in most cases, that is what's happening to most of these kids. They're really at a loss for where to go if they don't have the tutelage and the guidance.
Right.
That guidance
Right.
is like they're not getting it from the school. So, so if they come from an accredited program or something, the program kind of says, hey, you know what, you should be thinking about this. You should
Right.
be trying to, and a lot of them do. They put these camps together. They give tournaments and all this other stuff. So I'm going to take a pause here. We're going to check on the camera. And see
Let's
if
pause. Let's check on camera. I'm gonna hit the head.
Yeah, why not?
They make their own wine.
Nice. Long Island?
And, yeah.
Oh,
Out in East End, Long Island.
Yeah, that's great.
And I told them a long time ago when I was helping them move, I said, hey, next time you get when you press your next batch, so I want to do that. And so we just found out that they bought their grapes today, and they're gonna crush grapes tomorrow. So tomorrow night I'm gonna be crushing grapes at a winery out in East End. I don't know if you do it with your feet. I don't know. I don't know what happens.
I think you do it.
No, I know. I'm sure it's more advanced than that.
Although they say some of the good wine is step.
Some places still
Some
do that.
places
Like if you
still
go to
do it,
some of
yeah.
the places in Italy,
Yeah.
they still have people crunching grapes.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We want to, but
So you want to stay there. You don't want to. You have no plans on moving or.
no plans on moving. I want to buy a place in Miami
Ooh.
before the hurricane, but now I'm still okay in Fort Lauderdale. I Zillowed a couple of spots. I'm on like a big Zillow list of some property that I was interested in, and looking good. It's still very affordable.
The taxes are just amazing, man. I was talking to my
It's
friend down there. They were
kinda weird.
They have a beautiful home. It's huge. They got a nice backyard. They have a nice open space. And their taxes are like about a quarter of what you would pay here.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
out on Long Island, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's the only hesitance I have about purchasing a home here is that you're committed so much to taxes.
yeah, I mean, thank God I'm not in the incorporated village. I mean, I even though I'm in that side of the stream, the incorporated village pays a third tax on top of that, and so
Wait, whoa! You pay your county taxes,
you pay property tax,
right?
You pay school tax,
Right.
and if you live in a village, you pay a village tax.
Wow.
I don't live in a village. I'm in the town of Hempstead,
Okay.
but I'm not in the incorporated village.
Okay.
So I pay my general, what you call general taxes and school taxes. And those are the two that are mandatory. And they're equal, they're like fucking $4,000 each. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And my kids don't go to the school, and they don't go to
Right.
the
You
school.
don't. Right.
So they give you back $1,500 in the program.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you get $1,500 back.
If your kids are not going to public school.
Correct. If they don't go to a school that I'm in the town that I'm paying for. So,
Okay.
and there's a huge I went to one of the town hall meetings, by the way, which is weird. You ever go to a town hall meeting?
I have a while ago.
There's like two people there. Just like me and the guy. And then they do the actual gavel banging and
Do they really?
Yeah. The
Go.
gentleman from Valley Stream says, I'm like, dude, it's three of us here. Like,
Yeah.
do you really have to do that?
Yeah, you can point.
Yeah, you can say, yo,
Say what you gotta say.
Yeah. And I went there just to kind of see. I was off one day or whatever else. And, why are you here? They was like, what are you here for? What are you doing? It's kind of weird, but I think a lot of people don't go to those and know what's going on. But there's a huge. This was when we first got in the community and first tried to, when we were buying a house. But there's a huge library tax.
Really?
Huge library tax, and it's like almost $500 a year that comes out. Now you think it's nothing, but you're paying $500 a year for books that I don't use, that we don't use. And the library at one point was a good source. You can go there, get on the internet, do all your stuff, and rent movies. Libraries had great movies.
Right.
You could, they were kind of like a blockbuster. But I just think, again, we talked about this before about community. Like, people don't utilize their community.
Participate in their community, right?
And that's kind of why it runs up so high, because people are not concentrating their money and really looking into where it's being spent and recycling it in their community.
Right.
And cool chant.
Somebody did something.
So it's kind of it lends itself to say how and why, but I think that's only because of the way it's set up, and your community may not have the services you want. Your community may not have the stores you like. The community may not have your grocery style of food, and you have to go to another community.
Do you think that could
money.
all change? I mean, it seems like that could all change if people participated more.
Yeah.
If people participated in like community meetings more and say, I mean, even just for local stuff.
I'm
just
sure
like,
it would
well, hey, we need a stop sign here on this corner.
Right.
The kids are playing out in the street,
Right.
or this shopping mall is kind of crappy. Where can we get this thing built up? And
But it's interesting that's something that I think on another podcast, I think Joe Rogan said on one of his shows, and he mentioned that if people would put so much attention in their own local community and do the stuff, instead of talking about world economics and talking about they should do this, they should do this.
Right.
Like, what are you doing in your community? How much can you petition? Do you even know 10 of your neighbors? You know what I'm saying? Are you vested into your own community as much as you rant and rave on social media?
right.
And
Because
so
you can't control the big stuff. You
Right.
can't control like how many weapons we sell to whatever, but you can control
but even
what happens in your
in your community.
your
But
small
even
community.
as far as the voting process, which they are right, that says you have more of a chance of getting a local guy, your vote meaning count. In the grand scheme of things, with the electoral college and all that other
Right.
stuff, your vote gets lost in the sauce somehow.
Right.
And somebody's cooking somewhere and making it
Right.
a different outcome or whatever. But at the local level, and ballots are counted. and they're really they don't have the the sway of just saying turn the lights out and make this guy win. So I think the local officials, the local level, you do have a real big say if you participate, but you just can't just show up and vote. Like those the fact that I don't know the candidates is kind of my problem. Like I live here.
You should know.
I should know who each one of these guys
are,
right, and what they stand for, and what they. So I think we fail as people. We fail to really get involved, and like you said, I think that really could change. I think it could change. I think we'll see that soon. I think we're going to see it soon, just because of the way things are just getting weird. I think it's getting weird where people are saying, you know what, let's stick together and let's really be a community.
Well, we get to this notion, like especially with our illustrious president now. We ask ourselves, like, well, do we really need or want like one person to dictate the direction that 350 million people are supposed to go? I mean, do we want that, or can we just make the president like a figurehead? Apparently The Rock wants to run for president or something like that.
Does he really?
Somebody said something that he's going to run for president,
That's
or he's thought about running for president. And I think Kid Rock, I think, is running for governor of Detroit, governor of Michigan, or something like that. But just more of a figurehead status. Kind of like how they have in England. Like the Queen really can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, the president, like a figurehead is a manager, or the head of just a suit. He's just a guy a talking head. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. But it's. Yes, the answer is yes, but I think how does the people's voice get transmitted? How does it get here this way?
You got a
platform.
You got a phone. There's no reason. There's no reason now in 2017 to which your voice cannot be at least counted.
I agree.
There's no reason for it to happen now.
I would agree. I would agree. I think
for everybody on their phone to come in. I mean, if everybody on their phone emailed, if you decided that once a week you were going to email whoever your local representative is about a particular issue,
that's reasonable. I mean, that's some kind of result. I mean, listen, any will that you want to convey on something only works with persistence.
Right.
So it's only 100 times. Like I tell people all the time, like in my business in quoting and bidding. Guys are like, man, I know you 5 years. I still can't get a quote, one yet. And I says, the law averages, man. Maybe it's after 10 years.
Right.
I don't know the answer to when you will be successful. But if you ever stop trying, I know when you won't get one.
Right.
The day after you stop trying.
Right.
So that's a very simple equation. I mean, and the trial, people just give up too soon.
You miss all the swings you don't take.
Yes. That was in Fences?
I don't know.
It wasn't Fences.
It might have been.
I think he did.
Did you see
plagiarize
Fences?
I saw Fences.
Yes. What'd you think?
It was a play, right?
Right.
So you're a play kind of guy.
Play, August Wilson.
Yeah.
Pulitzer Prize winner.
So I mean, I watched it like it was a play. I thought it was very dialogue-y, which I enjoyed. But my wife woke up mad at me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Listen, my wife woke up and was like, you got another kid somewhere, do you? You got another kid. And I'm like, it's a fucking movie. It was, and we made the mistake of watching Fences and The Girl Next Door. You ever seen that one? With the
No.
Long Island Railroad girl, it's on the railroad here, and she goes, it's a sick movie.
The Girl Next Door or The Girl on the Train?
Girl on the Train.
Okay,
Girl on the Train.
I saw that. Yes, I did see that.
We watched both of those back, and somehow she fell asleep and merged the two movies together and woke up like, you piece of shit.
Woke up staring at you?
Staring at me.
Just like looking at you while you wake up.
And it was like, what the fuck? They were movies, babe. Like, they were movies. So, I did, I like Zell. I like Denzel. I like Viola Davis. I really like.
Denzel wants to. August Wilson, who wrote Fences, he did something absolutely beautiful. And I was a theater major in college. I read all of his plays, but he wrote a play representing every decade in the 1900s. So from 19 1901, and it passed all the way through. The first one is Gem of the Ocean, and he didn't publish them chronologically.
Okay.
So the first one I think is Gem of the Ocean, which takes place 1900s.
Wow.
And then the final one he did was one called Radio Golf, which took place in the 1990s. Fences was like in the middle, I think in the 40s.
Okay.
To chronicle Black life, and he has these reoccurring themes of mysticism and things like that, and fatherhood and manhood and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a little, I don't know, a little different in, him passing away and, doing the sun thing and the,
right.
I don't know. It was just weird. It was, like I said, very dialogue-y. Like, I want to know how the other particles reached out, but I guess that's the purpose. You're not supposed to see past the microcosmic of their household.
Well, if you read all 10 plays, there are references to other segments of other plays.
Okay.
Probably my favorite one is one called Two Trains Running, which takes place in like a diner that's outside of a train station.
Oh wow!
And yeah, it's very dialogue-y. You got to be willing to listen,
right?
And you got to be willing to listen to what people are saying, and how that applies to what's going on. There's no action. Nothing's gonna get blown up.
Right.
Nothing's like nobody's gonna come in like
right. No thrills.
And there's no theme. No, it's just.
Yeah, but I think that's what ratings used to do, right? Ratings used to tell you what the type of movie was. Now, if you look now, you go see a movie and it says action, crime, thriller, sequel. It says every one of them.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know what you're going to see, And I think the rating system's kind of gotten wacky. They got so many. I don't even know what these things are. NCR 113. Like they got some whatever. They got different codes now. It used to be
17.
Yeah, it used to be just like R. You couldn't see anything R. It was dirty.
Right.
There was cursing in it. There was sexual acts in it and all that other stuff. And now it's like, man, all these other. Well, you could be 17 and still like it, but
Right.
Like who comes up with this? These are some committees that have.
I think you have to. I think what you have to do is like when you make your movie, it goes in front of the whatever ratings review board, and they say, hey, we think this movie is rated R. And then you have to make your pitch to say, no, it's really like PG-13 because of state your case, and well, you made this other movie PG-13, and you had guys shoving their dicks in pies and stuff like that, and you said that was PG-13, so why is this rated R? That type of thing.
Censorship. So at some point, like even music, there was a big thing with this parental advisory sticker, which came out, and it became people so stupid that when you fight it so bad, people just go with it, and they made parental advisory shirts, and it was like the cool thing to be. Yeah, my stuff is censored. It's and it made it more interesting.
Right.
So when you see like people, trying to censor music and put labels on things, so to speak. And I'm not talking about food because that's totally different because you can package something and someone doesn't know.
Right.
But for entertainment stuff, books, any medium should have some sort of a warning, but minimalistically it's up to the household and the parent. Like you pay for the service that the person is streaming and watching porn on. You don't know what's going on because you're either too busy or whatever. Like your lifestyle doesn't allow, and you want someone else to say, well, they should have told me it had, this kind of, they should have told me it was this. If it were, I would have never bought it. And that may not be the case. I don't think the label makes you not buy it or not. The kids, in my house it does. I mean, my wife will say, no, this is not appropriate. She'll look at something and go, no, this is not appropriate. And they're like, Mom, you never saw it, and they'll be like, well, it says on the package it's not for, whatever, not age appropriate. And so that says something else. I mean, that turns into a, hey, well, what is and what's not, and who could say it is, and
who determines, Why are you determining what is appropriate for my kid,
if the
whatever?
I guess it's if you trust the government enough to,
No, I don't.
I'm gonna go with the no.
I'm gonna go with the no.
I'm gonna
I
go
don't
with the
trust.
no.
Like anytime the government gets involved in individual decision making, I think you have to be skeptical.
Yes.
I think you have to be very, very skeptical. Like for instance, okay, so let's take it to the nth degree. Let's take it like apparently a couple years ago there was this big thing about people not wanting to make gay cakes and shit like that. So should the government say that this person has to make a cake for somebody that wants to make a cake, even though the cake might be lewd or for a gay wedding or something like that? Because there are a lot of people who believe, and I think I kind of lean towards this side, that sort of, okay, so you went into someone for service, and they've made it explicit that they don't want to do business with you for a silly reason, for whatever. I don't like you because you're black, or you're gonna, I don't support a gay wedding, and blah 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 blah.
I don't
blah,
like
blah.
you.
Right, I don't like you. So I don't want to do business with you. Okay.
Right.
So now you can go back and you can tell your people in your community, hey, this
this organization
doesn't like black people, doesn't like
like
gay
me,
people.
doesn't like me,
right?
And I know you,
right.
and I think you shouldn't shop there.
You should not do business with them,
right?
And hopefully the market will dictate. Okay, they don't want to do that, so I won't do business there, and I'll get on Twitter and say they shouldn't do business there.
Yelp,
and hopefully
where
that person won't do business, or you got to take the chance that the opposite will happen. So, they don't mess with gay people.
like
Fine, I love that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get all my cakes over there.
Right. So that goes to what we said before. If the community is involved, I think people can make things happen. They don't need a government to do that. We don't need a government to tell us, yeah, man, go make this cake and smile when you do it. Don't stick your dick in it either. But that's I'm in that business with I'm making custom products for people, and some people we just don't mesh with. Some people are just so particular. It doesn't work. Nothing works. You can't please them. You can't satisfy them.
Right.
No matter what you do, they're just constant. Nah. So why are you here? Like, why are you shopping here? Don't spend your money here if you're not satisfied with the product. And I'm not going to spend my time making it right to you. I'm in a custom market. I'm in a custom business.
Right.
This is my style. This is the way I do things.
I will avail myself to you to a certain degree.
Correct. You bought the product, not the person. Like
right.
This is. I don't owe you anything that you don't pay. So if I don't charge you for it, now that's different. I paid my money, right? Maybe I sent in a check. They cashed my deposit, and all of a sudden they told me no. That's different. That's different. They've accepted your commerce, your trade. And under certain grounds, it was no restriction at the time, and you could put whatever, Jenny, Jane, go fuck yourself, and that's cool.
So that becomes a contract. So then it becomes a question of whether you obliged by the contract or you didn't oblige by the contract. Correct.
Now the get back is the punitive part of it, or the I guess how you say I don't know the right legal term for it, but. When you go and now you got to go tell somebody. You got to call the cops and say they won't service me. The only thing you're entitled to may be because they've committed to your event,
right?
And you had a date, and you had people come in, and you had all this other preparation that liquid damages they call, right? So you've set this whole chain of event, and the person said yes, and I came on the 15th to pick up my cake, and you don't have it.
Right.
I'm stuck, and my whole event that I paid $30,000 for. Oh, I did this, I did. You're entitled to some sort of compensation for that if they broke the deal. But if at conception, I don't think this is like right now we have people like my partner Mario will be like, yo, we're not making no fucking Dallas Cowboy shirts in our shop. Just for the simple fact if you want to go to Dallas and buy it, you know what I'm saying? So he'll be like, nah, we don't make it. And at the end of the day, we don't care. We $30, you charge more.
Right.
Well, you have the right to say, yo, we don't want to do that. And some people, if somebody stared at me, no, you have to make it. You have to make it.
No, you don't have to make anything.
I don't have to do anything. I can't make it. Okay, well, I'm closed. Whatever. There's something about making someone a business do it because it's right to them and not to them. I don't agree with that.
Right.
I don't even think that's even a topic. Like, why would you waste? Like, who does what government offers? So, today we're looking at the gay cake maker, or not. Like, what office does this? Like, where do you go? Do you call the police for this?
It's a good question.
Well, what do you call for a gay cake maker? That
I don't know.
Make,
They won't make a cake for a gay wedding.
Imagine that 911 call.
Yeah.
I'm standing out here, and they won't make my gay cake. Well, they won't make my cake. What do you do? Like, if
Right.
I called up somewhere and said, hey, cops would never come. Never come.
Yeah, the question, but why don't you go somewhere else?
Yeah, well, go to another, because it's the only place that sells cakes.
Right.
And what's so gay about the cake? Like, what? I might want to try one of these gay cakes. You mean gay as in happy and fun, or gay as in something else? So, I don't know what this. I mean, there's too many regulations on stuff. The government should not be involved in that. Government is, I don't know. We can go on and on. That's a whole another thing with government. I mean, they just put their hands. They can't do shit right anyway. So
Yeah.
what makes you think? Everybody's fucking crazy at the post office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they can't mitigate your. They can't mediate your daily life.
Right. They shouldn't be. And there's some organized chaos for you right there. You go to the post office, and you go in your local post office. For some reason, I don't know how they do it. That they'll be like, I'll go pick up, I'm going away on vacation or something, come back, and I go, yeah, I'm here to pick up my mail. And sometimes I don't even tell them like who I am. Oh, okay, well, and she'll just like shuffle through some stuff here, and I'm like, I didn't even tell you who I was. Oh, we know you live in the corner. Like they kind of know shit. Like
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't. Oh, you the guy you came. And I'm like, how? This shit is a mess in here. This shit is a mess. It's like papers all over the place. It's buckets. They got tons of buckets and rubber bands and shit wrapped around shit. And this lady just pulls out a wad of paper and go, here you go, sir. And I was like, I didn't even tell you who I was. And she goes, no, I know you. I know. Oh, you do?
Yeah. What
Okay,
else? What
fine.
else do you know?
And, and I'm flipping through, and I'm like, she kind of knows. Okay, yeah, fine. Is that it? You sure? Like, I signed? No, take your stuff. Get out of here. Next. And I'm like, but then when you go there to get a passport or something, it's like, it's god awful. It's like standing in line. They have the power to reject you. That's, I think, when people get that.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, you don't have 2 points of this. You're missing that, and you're missing this. And they go take pictures leaning to the head, to the right.
I remember when I had to get when I got my passport, when I got my new passport, I got this huge package that I had to fill out, and one of the questions was, or one of the things I had to do, it said, name all of your acquaintances. And I looked at it and I was like, all? and I started doing it.
I don't remember that question, but
my
that's
brother,
pretty weird.
I got to like 5, and I'm like, I'm not doing any more of this shit.
Yeah, I know 2 people, man.
Right, and I sent it in, and then no problem, I got my passport. But I don't know. I guess you do it under the guise of, I guess in that situation, under the guise of security, and.
Well, even those guys. I mean, like travel. And this guy wants some coffee.
Yeah, he wants coffee.
But travel has gotten so weird where it's like the fact that the little stuff that they do require from you isn't much safer. Like, ooh, show me a button from, show me a business card.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, fucking a business card, really? Like, that helps you? This is gonna make sure I'm a legitimate company?
It's funny when we went to Mexico. When we went to Mexico, we had the whole.
Right.
This dude is enthusiastic.
Yeah, but if I
You might have to
swat him
die.
hard, right? If he gets swatted hard, then he's gonna like
Ooh,
that torch.
This might not be right. But. Did I get him?
I
Yeah, I
think
got
you
him.
He's injured. He's injured. Now torch him. Now, really.
All right. So we just killed a bee, and I don't know.
We're going to jail.
My the honey.
The Wu-Tang Clan is coming to get us. Killer bees on a swarm.
Yeah. So when we went to Mexico, you got to fill out these customs forms and stuff like that, and when we came back, we didn't. We forgot the form, and so they wouldn't let us on the plane until we filled out another form, and then and of course you got to pay a little money.
It's like
at the
$10.
drop. Yeah, it's like something like that. Like I think more like 30 or 40 bucks or whatever. And we had to do it like before our flight, and of course they don't care. So the dude was at lunch and all that stuff, and he came back all slow and looking.
Yeah.
But then when we went to the Dominican. Nobody could care.
Yeah.
Nobody could care less. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And DR was 10. When we got to Punta Cana, they charged I think $10 to get in, and it's crazy because I was like, how do you know I have $10? And it was cash only.
Right.
It was cash only. I was like, well, what if I don't have like? There's a possibility here that I'm gonna cross this line and not have cash, and you're gonna take me somewhere else. Like you're gonna now go, oh, you don't have it. Well, you gotta come to the special room. Well, we withdraw. And my wife was like, "This is a scam. This is a scam." I was like, "Babe, it's an airport. It's not. Yeah. I don't think it's a scam, but it's pretty inconvenient. But luckily, we had the cash. But yeah, I don't know. Travel is just weird. I think what I hate about travel is I hate the queues. I hate the lines.
Yeah.
Because people are so non-sympathetic of just moving. Like everyone believes that their trip is special to them, to no one else's. Like we're going away. We're finally getting away. Don't fuck this up for me. And then there's business travel like myself, and I'm like, come, all right. These people clearly are super excited behind me, and they got the pillow, they got the all the travel accessories and batteries charged up and cell phones and all this other stuff. And I'm like, all right, man, can you just just go? Like all the magic happens on the other side. Like,
exactly.
Get through. Just get through.
This
is the roughest part, and you have to deal with it. There's no, I'm special. I'm somebody. If that's the case, go get the prepay. The TSA pre-check.
You got to put up with that bullshit at TSA. I truly believe that the people that work at TSA, some of them anyway, I would not be surprised if. Like there was like you show up for work one day at the airport. Say, hey, where are you working today? So I'm doing the fries at the Burger King. Yeah. What about you? Oh, I'm doing international security check on the on the line.
And my friend Mo, Big Les, he worked TSA for about 10 years, and so he's finally out of it, and now he works at a hospital, and he says it's much better, but it was a shit job. I mean, it was low paying. Yeah. It's no qualifications whatsoever. Yeah. It's all about how long you can stand and just be, go through the checkpoints of it.
See, to me, that should be a job that should be
a little more high regarded.
A little bit more highly regarded. You get paid a little bit more. Yep. They focus a little bit more on your training. Yeah. And stuff like that, and customer service is important. Yeah. I mean, every time I go to the South, somebody greets you with a smile. And,
I love that.
Hey, how you doing? How was your trip? If there's a long line, somebody say, oh, it'll take a few more minutes. You'll be fine. You go to New York, they just go ahead.
That was pretty bad.
Oh, I fucked that up. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right. That little compassion level of different states. It is something to be said. Like different states have different hospitality. A lot of people are more patient, and stuff like that. I mean, when you're standing online for something, I mean, you're clearly not the elite. You're in the line, right? like you're not with the elite. The elite people don't stand on.
They don't stand on lines,
and they don't even.
They got what they wanted,
right? So they don't do this and go
right. They don't.
You're not elite if you're looking ahead and hoping this goes past, and you got your suit, whatever you are, whatever, you're in this line. Right. So no matter what your status is on life,
we're all the same right now.
And you're behind me.
Right.
So if you still thinking status matters, you should have got here a little earlier. Right. Like leave early, whatever. I don't know. I'm late. My plane's late. That's your fault. Right. Like all these people that show up 5 minutes to and run.
I'm so fearful of that. I'm one of those guys. I would rather be waiting like an hour to board my plane than to show up like 15 minutes before the thing's about to take off.
I agree. I'm 2 hours early rather than 10 minutes late. Because and my wife does it to me all the time. Why? Why do you got to be at the airport? I said, because I don't like shoveling myself. I don't like...
Right.
Wrong terminal.
Right. I'm going to sit. I want to relax. Okay, I know I'm here.
I know where everything is. Bathrooms cool. Right there. Coffee's right there. I got all my setups, and here we go. And then there's a bar right there. You get a little bar. You get, oh, okay.
Do you get, because of your business travel, you get those, you get to go in those, like, lounges and stuff in the airport?
I only American Express. Only American Express lounge. If they have an American Express lounge, I use that.
Is it an American Express lounge?
American Express lounge is tough.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you get to get? Because I have an American Express is in the credit card.
Yeah, it's in the credit card. But you can go to the website and dial up on it, or you could actually pay per. You get there. You go there. $60 and you take a shower.
Really?
Yes.
You do all that shit?
Yes. You go to American Express. If you're an American Express card holder, you go to the American Express lounge and you say, "Listen, I'm a card holder. I'm not a member of the lounge, but
Right.
I want to use the services." They'll say, "Sure, give me your card. It's $65 or whatever it is. Each airport is different,
Right.
and you can take a shower, man.
Is it $65 for that visit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, until your plane, they ask you when's your next plane, because someone will come over and, "Sir, you should leave and you
Really?
should go now." Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty nice, and you're gonna see more. Okay, so now, it's interesting. Now what's coming is that style, that lounge is now coming. Guess where? To healthcare. It's coming to the hospitals. Northwell is gonna put the Hyatt. The Hyatt Hotel Group is putting their first suite in one of these Northwells things. So it's going to be a lounge for patients, parents, and you hear someone's having surgery, you're waiting, someone's in an accident, and you go sit in these fucking waiting rooms, and they're disgusting.
It's a little bit posh. So the
now
other ones,
they're giving you the upscale.
Really?
If you're a rewards member or a royalty point member,
rewards member at a hospital.
that's what I'm. See, this is it's a fucked up thing that's happening, because this means you're just going with the
Right.
We're sick.
Because you don't show up at a hospital to hang out. You don't. I mean,
Right.
I mean, when you're traveling, you're traveling. It's kind of like you're choosing to do that.
I agree with you 100%.
But if you're at a hospital, you're kind of there because something's jacked up.
Something's
Somebody's
jacked up.
hurt. You're hurt. Somebody in your family's hurt or friends hurt.
Yeah. But some of these hospitals are now making, because of I remember years ago, right? You get the call in the middle of the night, you got to run to the hospital, and it's like overnight, right?
Right.
And you could damn near roller skate through the place because no one's around, and
Right.
maybe one security guard, and you're like, "I'm trying to find something. Where do I
Right.
go?" And they're like, "You're on the wrong side. You gotta go here. You gotta go here."
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, his wife had something happened to her. She had a stroke, and I'd rather not say names, but he knows he's a fan. He watches. So let's go by there, show our support. We go to the hospital, and I'm thinking like we're not gonna find it. We're not gonna. Man, I went into this hospital, North Shore, North, whatever.
North Shore,
no,
LIJ?
I'm sorry, Manhasset, whatever the one is in Manhasset. This thing was like a fucking Broadway play. It was like they had Old Bon Pan, they had Starbucks, it was like being in a mall. It was sick people all it was like like people walking with, crutches and wheelchairs. It was 12 at midnight. And it was full action packed. It was a lot. It was a lot going on, and it was like a Tuesday. It was like nothing. So I remember years ago it was like 1 to 2. You get one little thing, and you're waiting in the hospital room. There's 4 people, one guy throwing up, one guy sick, one guy drunk.
Right.
This place was jam packed with all kinds of people. The parking lot was packed. There was a guy selling hot dogs and tacos outside, man. This is and it was packed wall to wall with people with all kinds of something wrong with them, whether it's cancer, and then there's people crying, and then there's this, and now they have different prayer rooms now, where they have Muslims prayer rooms, which obviously faced a certain way. Then they have Catholic and regular, and for anyone, because it's getting that crazy. But you spend all this money, and that's where it's going. You know what I'm saying? They're going into
a hospital.
In a hospital, man. These things are like these campuses. It's like, she's over in the second wing for special treatment for this, for that, for this, and they're going to the nils with really boosting up healthcare and making it luxury, kind of posh. Where you could sit and wait.
Waiting room.
Yeah, you sit and wait. You can get free Wi-Fi and sit around and wait for your bandages. I don't know, whatever it is.
Jesus Christ, that's.
It's depressing, though. It is depressing.
Yeah, because it seems like you're trying to make an economic opportunity out of the fact that people are there for a tragic reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are charging. They charge a lot too, and they just. I don't know how when the first, but I think we saw something at one of the trade shows where Hyatt was introducing this new hospital program. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that.
Okay, maybe not.
But so you're gonna see a lot more of that. But the lounges in the airports are pretty. They're okay. They're not bad. You can pay for almost any one of them to go into the club.
I think I'm close to being like to do the Delta Lounge.
Yeah,
I think Well, no, I shouldn't say
Delta
that. No, I
fly-
shouldn't say that.
can't. No matter how
No?
much I fly with them, I can't. I know. I like. I don't care. I never was a fan of like my wife swears by JetBlue until something happens. She goes, "Oh, that was."
Yeah.
But that's like any. I mean, service is service. You know?
Right.
You could be JetBlue and then get a crazy guy on there, or you can get some
Right.
people that are just like work too long and
Right.
they're grumpy and
And they're
all this other
grumpy, and they
stuff.
tell you,
so-
say, no, we don't have any fucking ginger ale.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but hold the fort for a second. I'll hit the head again.
Yeah. All right. All right. Now we're recording. We're
I'm
back.
fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay,
back.
yeah, like Schwarzenegger said, I'm back.
Schwarzenegger.
I am back.
So there was a couple of what was it, just random topic, but there was a couple of I think I went to a website that had the top 10 things that were never said in movies that people just say they say. Like in Star Trek, they said it never said "Beam me up, Scotty."
Oh, never said it?
They never said it. It was never in any episode where they said "Beam me up, Scotty." Like people have made that a cult thing, and
Oh,
people-
okay. But he said that. He said, "Scotty, beam us up."
I don't know. I don't know,
Really?
but allegedly, again, allegedly.
So the statement "Beam me up, Scotty" was never done in
Never
the Star
said.
Trek.
Nope. Never said.
In the original. What about the movies?
I don't
The
know.
last-
I don't
the
know. I mean,
updated
this
movies,
this
I
thing
think.
came out. It was some survey thing in 2016. It was.
Things that were never said. That's interesting.
Yeah, but then there's like there's a big misconception with anytime that somebody does like a voiceover or something, a British accent. When they use British actors, the point about they somehow people think it's more truer than it is.
Oh, you get when British people speak,
It's
it seems a little bit more authentic.
it
Yeah,
seems
we
a
give them a
little
little too much credit.
too much credit
Yeah,
just for the
just-
accent alone.
Just as much fucking knuckleheads as anybody else.
Yeah. So this is the 1st of October, right? Today's the 1st.
Yeah, that's right. Today is the 1st.
And Halloween coming. We already talked about the stupid pumpkin specials.
Yeah, no pump.
No pumpkin. Costumes, man. Try to be tasteful, man. If you guys do costumes and stuff, I like cool stuff. I don't like the taste. All these noose hangings and all this other stuff. Like,
See, that shit I don't get.
that's the shit I don't get.
I don't get that shit. Now I don't, like if somebody wants to dress like a,
Ghoul.
what do you call those?
Zombie.
No, like a guy with a Mexican hat. What do they like?
A mariachi?
Yeah, like a mariachi.
Uh-huh.
I don't necessarily think that's a negative
Is it?
thing.
Why?
I don't. Why? Mariachis dress like that.
Yeah, but there's a costume. I mean, you're like, does it all have to be fantasy?
No, but why is that? But why is that an offensive thing? Why
No,
is that?
that's what I'm saying. Why
Oh.
is it offensive? I'm asking you. You said it.
No, apparently that this happened like at a couple years ago.
Are you
like
saying people get offended because you wear a mariachi costume?
Right. They say that if you're not, I guess what is it called? Like cultural appropriation. Like if you're not part of that culture, then you
is
should not
crazy.
be.
This
You
is-
should not be. Right. So the guy
This
that
is
owns
super crazy.
the guy that owns the freaking restaurant in the North Shore of Long Island
Yeah.
with no Hispanic people around can't have a Taco Tuesday on his in his restaurant.
What?
Because it's considered to be
Would you say culture appropriation?
cultural appropriation. I think it's like a negative when you do something that is not within the realm of your culture.
Yeah, I know. Dame
But-
Dash calls it culture vultures. Dame Dash calls it culture vultures.
Right.
He's always big on
Right.
people that monopolize and make money off of a culture that they have nothing to do with or create,
Right.
etc.
Right.
I don't think that is such a bad thing because like, you dress up like a doctor, right? Okay, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. I
Right.
want to be one. I want to dress up like
Right.
one. Or I want to be a nurse. Or a
But now
devil
some
or-
people take it far because I've seen people dress up like a slave and a slave owner. That's
see that.
and that's
Okay,
just going too far.
That has pain in it. There's
Right.
pain behind that, and that may make it a little tasteless. But that would be the case. In fairness, the doctors that I studied hard, I paid for my MemCats, and you can't fucking wear that gown and a stethoscope.
Now,
Doesn't
were
make
you
you
deliberately trying to sound Jewish when you did that?
I
'Cause
was
that's
not
how you-
trying to.
I paid for my doctor's
If I
appointment.
wanted to sound Jewish, I would sound like this guy.
That's the second time you
Yeah.
fucked with Indian people. Now you sounded like Jackie Mason.
Jackie Mason's great. Oh man, a little to the left, a little to the right. sounds better on the mic. But no, this appropriation thing has gone crazy. I mean, I guess people are just, everything's on Front Street and just, it gets obliterated. But then six seconds later, it's gone. Like people are over with it,
Yeah.
very quickly. So it barges on a attention span thing. It's flavor of the month. It's, it is what it is until people get, until it's not, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know, costumes are just weird. I think it's too much of an event to do, you know what I'm saying, just to go out and dress ghouly. And it's also an opportunity. I think people have exploited it, right? People have gone and tried to rob banks and do things undercover.
Yeah, well, have you seen those, people, terrorizing people in clown outfits?
Dude,
and shit? It's kind of weird, man. It's kind of...
Yeah, it's pretty weird. If somebody was standing over in the corner with a clown outfit now, with a balloon, I'd be fucking creeped out. It'd be...
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to take the chance of... Like, if you're going to do that...
Yeah.
If you're going to do that for the sole purpose of freaking people out...
Right.
Like, you're just going to stand around with a clown outfit
right.
and just... Okay, 8 people will walk by and be scared. Oh, my God, this is scary. But there's going to be somebody that's going to get a fucking stick and say, I'm going to beat this clown's ass because he's scaring the shit out of everybody around here.
Yeah, so there's a couple of prank guys that do prank like that, and they do, zombify themselves, and they come with blood, and they go into like a park with guys playing basketball, and these dudes like, yo, man, you better back the fuck up, man. The brothers is like, yo, you better what? Yo, go clear out, man. We're about to, and the guy's like, hey, it's a prank. It's a prank. Like, yo, you about to get shot. Like, so you have to be careful doing that stuff, man. Some guys take it a little too far with their prank, but it's all for this. It's all for social media. It's all for likes, and it's so staged. Most of it's staged now. People are just so looking for that they'll do anything to kind of make it look genuine.
Right.
And like, who was randomly taping it? You know what I mean? Like, it's just all set up. And even the kids now with like the World Star stuff and all of that, they just go overboard, taping ghetto fights and arguing over chicken wings, and they argue like over nuggets. My nugget was missing. That's like, what the? You talk about 99-cent nuggets, and you in McDonald's raising hell, throwing trays and fighting over nuggets. These people are crazy, man. Savages.
Not even real chicken.
Not even real chicken. It's not even. I don't know what that stuff is, man. But yeah, it's interesting. It's gonna be a great week. Weather's gonna be nice.
You working this week? When are you going to Florida?
So I'm supposed to be there on the 4th, and I don't know yet. So tomorrow's the 2nd. I'll find out tomorrow. We'll have a meeting, find out if I'm supposed to be down there on the 4th. We just did one model room down on Ocean Drive. I don't necessarily need to go. Actually, I don't want to go. I don't want to go because I could do it over the phone. And just, they want to know, how much did this cost? How much was that? How much was this? How much was this? And if we buy 50 of them, is it times 50? Is it? Yeah. Okay, that's how it works.
Is it times, if I buy 50?
Yeah.
Do I pay for 50?
Do we get a discount? They always want to know the answer before they take the test. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably have some snippet.
Sorry.
Oh, probably have some snippet footage, something on Instagram, but the Twitter feed is buzzing now. I see.
Oh yeah.
I see. It's,
I've seen a couple. Yeah.
A couple pick up on it. I'm not sure how to navigate through Twitter.
I'm not sure either. I think we're playing with all of this.
Yeah. I'm just throwing.
We're playing with everything.
Throwing little snippets on there, but definitely post it. Check out Mixcloud.com. Search for 2brosPodcast. You'll see you'll hear all of the episodes in high definition. Now that we have the microphones working. So it comes out nice and clear and crisp, and the birds chirping in the background with a little bit of Mother Nature.
Like the lacrosse chants.
Yeah. X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give. You know, I came out to DMX at my wedding, which forever haunted my wife. I came out to get at me, dog.
Yes, I remember that.
The videotape was.
Your wife didn't like that?
No, she didn't like it. She didn't think it was funny at all. So it's like no other song, no other song.
I remember that. Yes.
But we got Giant game today, right?
Yes.
Giants, Big Blues playing.
Yes. Hopefully they'll win.
Hopefully they'll win and get themselves a little bit of victory juice on them. All the controversy over standing, kneeling.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. I don't even think we should touch on it. I don't know. Is it worth touching on?
I don't. Number one, I don't understand. I don't get why the average fan would be upset by that.
Right.
I don't get that. Like when was this ever?
Right.
Like when did you ever give a shit what happened to
Right.
the national anthem?
Right.
And why would that offend you to the point where you would no longer engage in something that you enjoy? You're right to do so. If you don't want to do that, okay, fine. Then don't do that. But I just don't get why that bothers you.
I think it only bothers people when someone asks you what's your position on it, right? When you're faced with the, like I've stand for the national anthem, and I even I get teary eyed. I get teary eyed very easily.
Yeah.
And I get teary eyed over land of the brave, home of the free, and all this other stuff because it's a great country. I've been to other countries. This is the best country you could ever be in.
I'm imagine how many people who hold a negative opinion have been to other countries.
Right. So if you've never left the block, or you never left, your little, area, which is cool. Some people have never left where they came from, where they grew up from, and you've not seen it. And you've not seen what it's like to be restricted on a lot of things,
right.
or have,
you couldn't do this.
You couldn't do it. You can't free talk about stuff like that. I mean, it still is a free country. And even though, as wicked as slavery was, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for it. You wouldn't be you wouldn't have this opportunity to talk about it now, as painful as it is.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that in many parts of the country, slavery still exists.
Yes.
Our friends, because I say that we're their friends because we take their money. Saudi Arabia has no problem with having
slaves.
And they're actually the biggest. I think historically the biggest importers of African slaves.
Well, yeah, they were, and them and Chinese and there was so many other races that bought slaves and so. But to stand for a song, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a song. It's a patriotic song. It's like a school anthem, right? If you didn't stand for the thing, you don't get expelled.
Right.
You don't get so that's like saying, hey, you better bop to this song. Like you better head nod. You better acknowledge that this is the greatest song ever. And
patriotism can lead to fascism.
Yes, and it's so sad that my reaction to, like, is that what we're really talking about? My reaction to the song.
Right.
And hey, okay, I didn't say stop singing it.
Right.
We're not saying nobody said don't play that song at our games. Don't you, how dare you play it? How dare you do it? No, but I have a right. It's the same way I'm standing in the crowd and, when I'll go, we used to play the game, when they do the national anthem for the games at my son's games and stuff, and the hats, take off your hat. What difference does it make? You take off a hat and, George Carlin always says, what's with the hats? You got a little hat. The Jewish people have a hat. This one have a hat. Muslims have a hat. What's with hats? Why is hat in religion always? The Pope's hat is different from the yarmulke, but his is tilted to the front. With these hats. What's with the hats, man? Little hats make a big deal. And so that was, back then, that was patriotic. If you didn't remove your hat and put your hand over your heart and do all that stuff, that was like, sacrilegious, man. Guy didn't take off his hat.
Right.
Oh, I didn't get the full blessing. It didn't go through my head.
Exactly.
I got some of it. So I think it's really stupid to even pay this much attention to people in arms. I'm grateful that one guy, Colin Kaepernick, who sacrificed, I guess, his career
pretty much
for a standpoint. So stand for something, fall for anything is what I'm looking at it as. I'd rather him, and I just at some point, everybody's kind of waiting for him to say.
Well, yeah, but he's like out of the picture now, and he's doing his own thing.
Right.
And he's doing the things that he believes in, and he sort of understood. He implicitly understood what that meant for him to do that, and the more attention.
Wouldn't it be weird if he just came out and was like, "Yo, man, my legs were hurting.
Wouldn't that be something?
I just dropped to my knees because I had stomach-ache and I was and it
and
just so happened to be at this during national anthem. I wasn't.
That would be awesome. Oh, that would be great.
I just had to take a shit, man.
That'd be great. So my stomach was
growling.
Right,
I just took a kneel, and everybody thought as it was a sign of this, and I said, "Look, I'm not apologizing. I had the bubble guts, and I'm sorry."
Last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers decided that they weren't going to take the field during the national anthem, and they did it according to them. They said they did it because they didn't want to be seen as taking a political stance. They didn't want to be involved with that. Right. They didn't want to put their players in a position of making a political stance. So they said, you know what, we just won't take the field and never have it like that. But because of that, people are now saying that you took a political stance because you decided not to do it. Exactly.
You can't get away from it. But
Right.
at what point will it change something? What has to happen? Fans, you buy the ticket. You say, oh, before I buy the ticket, are you guys gonna play that national anthem? 'Cause
Right.
I'm not buying it. Check no if you're
Right.
gonna play it. If not, I'll buy.
Some
the
people
ticket.
have gone so far as to like take away remove their packages, like their NFL packages from their tape thing. So some people are really
It is speaking.
Yeah.
It's creating a buzz, and it's the talk of the town. But should the president be involved with it like
the
this?
president needs to shut up. Every chance he gets, he should be quiet.
I mean, yeah, less
chance
is more.
he should
Like
be
I
quiet.
would be scared of this guy if he didn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? I'd be
Well,
like, yo,
that's a horrible thing to say,
Right,
though.
right.
To tell people that, hey, they don't do this, therefore you should fire them.
Right.
That's a very dangerous.
super
That's a
fascist.
dangerous thing to say.
yeah, you can go back in history and find out where that kind of mentality
Right. Exactly.
led to a little bit of some bad things allegedly. So I listen, I really applaud the people who have a financial risk
Right.
involved in taking a stand.
Right.
And if your career is on your job and you're in front of it and you take a stand because it's something you believe in. Now, Herschel Walker said something recently. He came out in public.
Mhm.
I don't know where he came from. He just resurfaced all over. He's still got a little greasy, curly hair. And he was like, he doesn't believe this is the place for it. He says, then if you really stood that for it in the off season, you should have been everywhere. You should have been doing all that you can to promote whatever your cause was.
Mhm.
And in the game time, it's for game time. You know what I'm saying? So he says, if you're active in that response, then don't just do it when it's showtime, when the cameras are on.
Right.
What are you doing outside of it? Which I kind of looked at and agreed because, if you're going to be you can be part-time activist, and then go work for the machine that
Right.
you so-and-so against or whatever. So it is something to be said about being active and being, full-time.
Right.
It's part-time active. But applaud to those guys who really take a stand and risk the possibility of being fired or remove a sponsorship or even financially being impacted from, their actions socially.
Right.
It's tough to do. So.
That's it.
That's it, man. So episode 5 is a wrap.
Wrap.
Thanks to the lovely backdrop of Hofstra.
I know we had like birds and
chirping
people
and
playing lacrosse, and a couple people stopped by and waved. They have no idea what the hell's going on.
I know.
But hey,
They're like, hey, what's going on at this thing? Let me photobomb. They took the road, this path. I don't see that many people walk by, but somehow people seem to walk by it. But we thank you for watching 2 Bros Podcast. Check us out on 13 Ghost TV on YouTube. You can catch us Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. No Snapchat. Sorry, I can't do it. I'm social media maxed
this
out.
wouldn't go on Snapchat.
Oh, is it that?
I think it's like
It's not how it works.
Like it. I think
Disappears?
Snapchat, it disappears. Like
Oh.
you do something and
Ha.
it's there, and people can like maybe, and then it just goes away.
And it just disappears.
Yeah, forever.
Snapchat should have been called Dick Pic.
Ooh, that's probably what it's for.
It was when I first heard of Snapchat. It was like, hey, you could send a picture of your dick, and it'll disappear. This was the Anthony Weiner's app idea.
Oh,
like
Anthony Weiner, he disappoints me every fucking time. This is a guy, I truly believe that Anthony Weiner changed politics. Because he was a guy, I used to love Anthony Weiner.
Did you?
I did. I thought he was a bulldog on liberal issues.
Man.
I thought he was great on when he was debating issues and whatnot, and he had a
That guy
very
took the red
practical
pill,
knowledge
man.
of it. But then just keeps showing people his dick and just like, can you just stop doing that? It's okay, stop doing that. Now he just did it again, and apparently he's going to jail for sexting some 14 or 15-year-old
like
kid.
They gave him a pass though. They gave him a pass. Even his wife came out and said,
No,
give him a
now
pass. Right.
recently, he got indicted.
No, he got a sentence.
Yeah, he got sentenced.
But it's 20 months or something, like 20 weeks or something like that. It's nothing. He was facing 10 years.
Oh, okay.
He was
I didn't know
facing
that.
10 years, and they gave him like 20 months in a program or something like that. And I mean, so apropos, I don't think you could make this up. Anthony Weiner, and sends pictures of his wiener.
How could that be? How could that be a camp? What would the campaign slogan be? Like wiener, I'll show you. We'll show you how to do it. Wiener.
Oh man, this guy. You're right. He's very. I think he did change politics, but I think he. And maybe he'll be the CEO of Snapchat or something. Because hey, we'll show it to you and disappear. We'll make it disappear. I don't know. That guy's finished, man. He's finished, and his wife, poor. I can't help but think this was some sort of a political assassination, and just like someone egged him on and said, "Yeah, man, show you shit."
Yeah,
man.
but if that was the case, even if that was the case, you kind of like fed the fire.
Yeah, but
a little
most
bit.
people do. Like
So-
most sting operations do that. They get you to the point of you do it, and you yeah. Oh man, that's a wrap for us, man. 2Bros Podcast coming to you from Hofstra campus. We wish you a blessed week, and remember to be a blessing to somebody else.
Be a blessing to somebody. That's a nice one. Be a blessing to somebody else. Out.
Peace.
Hey, thank you for watching 2Bros Podcast on 13 Ghost TV. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share, and join the convo. Tell some friends. We'll be here for the next episode.